Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you a wonderful bag recipe. I say we will prepare our bag with a soft shelf, and this shelf is suitable for both summer and winter. That is a bag that you can use in all 4 seasons. I want to show you our bag model up close. Would you look at the beauty of the handle? It is really easy to place. I want to show you the leather quality up close, and let's look at our bag model right away. We will prepare a very easy example. We will use a leather oval base. The bag is really very easy to make. And look, let's see the model again. We will work on a very easy example consisting of only frequent needles. And look, it is a very neat and beautiful work with a zippered mouth. I want to open the zipper part and show you the inside. It turned out to be a very original piece. Look, the inside is like this. You can put a lining inside if you want, but it turned out to be a very nice example that can be used even without lining. Look, you see these details? I shared them with you step by step in the video. Let's close our zipper like this. Would you look? The handle turned out really nice too. These accessories are bags. I will add the accessory base, zipper, handle, and contact information of the bag to the description of the video. You can reach it from there. It really is a beautiful piece. It looks amazing when worn. As I said, all the details of our recipe are in the video. I hope you like it and try it. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. I would be really happy if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I will use a leather oval base for my bag. The base belongs to the bag accessory. I will add the contact information of the bag accessory to the description of the video. You can contact me by clicking there. The length of the base I will use is 20 centimeters and the short side is 10 centimeters. Here I will use the soft raffia of AXA Knitting Boutique. Look, this is a raffia yarn, but it is a raffia yarn that can be used comfortably in winter. Look, I want to show its texture up close. It has a texture like fabric. We can easily use this in winter. It is a yarn suitable for both winter and summer. There are many different colors. If you want, there are also single colors. Again, I will add AXA Boutique's contact information to the description of the video. You can also contact AXA Boutique by clicking there. At the end of the video, I will share with you how many UVAC yarn I used. I bought my Raffia yarn. Look, I want to show you its texture up close. First, we will use a 3mm crochet hook. You need to use a crochet hook that can easily pass through the holes. Again, it is large enough to knit the yarn. Now look, I am inserting from the next hole right from this trough section. I am inserting from the next hole of the point that corresponds to the trough. I took the yarn to the end of my hook and took out my stitch from this point. I'm starting with a single chain. Look, after I start with a single chain, we'll consider this as a single crochet. Look, I'm inserting into my next hole. I took out a stitch. I'm knitting a single crochet. We're working by hiding the short yarn. Look now, I knitted a single, second single, 2 single crochets. Now I'm going to knit a double here. What does double mean? Having 2 single crochets in the same hole. Look, I knitted my 2 single crochets. That is, I started with 2 single crochets and a double. Now I'm making 2 single crochets again. My first single, the second single crochet in another hole. 2 single crochets side by side. Now I'm knitting 1 double, 1 in the same space. 2. Now I'm continuing. 2 single stitches again, 2 single crochets side by side. Now 1 double stitch, 2 single crochets in the same hole. At this stage, if you think I'm knitting too fast, you can slow down the video or conversely speed it up. I'm knitting 2 single stitches again. I'm knitting my next pair. Now look, we have come across an oval point in this part. Look, we have come across these turns. What are we going to do here? We will continue to knit doubles. We will have 12 doubles in total. I immediately insert into the next point and knit 2 single crochets. I come to another hole. I knit 2 single crochets again. We reach the point here by inserting double crochets in each one. In other words, we should have 12 doubles in total. Now look, our double here is our next double after 2 single crochets. I am counting from the double crochet point. We have knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 double crochets. Now we will continue with 2 single crochets. We will proceed as 1 double crochet. Now I am knitting 2 single crochets. 1 single crochet again to the next one. Look, we have knitted 2 single crochets. Now we knit 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 2 single crochets again, 1, 2. Next double crochet. Now the flat side will proceed like this. But if you want the base, that is your bag, to be bigger, you can knit 2 for each. I only knitted the oval parts in pairs. I made 2 singles and 1 double in between. But the more you knit the number of single crochets here, the bigger your bag will be. Let's share this information with you. I'm progressing in the form of 2 singles, 1 double. I knitted 2 singles again. Now look, we progressed as we described. 2 singles, 1 double, 2 singles, 1 double, 2 singles, 1 double, 2 singles. Now we'll knit our double. Since the oval part comes after this point, I knit my double and continue. I'll proceed until there are 12 doubles. Now let's proceed by knitting the double parts here. Look, we're turning the oval part in the same way as we did on this side. Let's come to the end point right there. Look, we've made 12 doubles. There's 1 last hole left. Since we've accepted 1 single crochet in the part where there's this chain, we'll finish our row by knitting a double to the last remaining point here. If you want, you can skip this point alone. Look, there are 13 double stitches on this side. There are 12 double stitches here. It's not a problem to have it like this. Now I'm knitting 2 single crochets into the last hole. And at this point, look, after knitting a single crochet, I had accepted a single crochet. I am inserting the first single crochet to the top of the single crochet. I have removed the loop. I have slipped the loop I have removed from the waiting loop, and this slipping point has given me the top space of the single crochet, that is the top space of the chain, just like in other single crochets. Now look, this is our ending and starting point. We are immediately inserting our hook to this single crochet point. Now I am leaving the 3mm crochet here. I am moving on to the 3.5mm crochet. That is the crochet number I will knit the yarn with. I want to show it like this. We will have continued with 3.5mm crochet. Now I am coming. I have pulled a chain here and gone up. Now look, I am inserting the top of the first single crochet that came. We have slipped. I have removed the loop. I am knitting a single crochet. Now I am proceeding by knitting 1 single crochet in this way by inserting the top of each single crochet. I will insert the top of each one. Look, there is no point where I will insert a double needle anymore. I have only prepared this at the base like this. Now let's come to the end of the row by inserting 1 in each one. We have come to the end of our row here. Look at the point where the safety pin is. I took out our slip point. I am inserting the safety pin, that is the slip point that forms the top space of the chain. Look, and I am knitting my single crochet here. Now this part is our ending and starting point. Let's insert our single crochet right on top of that single crochet. This is the last single crochet we knitted. Now we will have moved on to the needle row. Let's insert it like this. Look, we're starting to build our model now. We're going to knit in a sprain way here. We're going to raise our bag like this. I'm coming now. I'm going to sink into the bottom of the first tight stitch here. I also lengthen my stitch a little and knit my tight stitch. The process I will do now consists entirely of this. I sink to the bottom of the tight stitch. I will knit my tight stitches by sinking to the bottom of all of them in this order. Look here, what I am doing is knitting long tight stitches by sinking to the bottom of the tight stitches. This is our ending and starting point. Actually, we can knit this model completely in tight stitches, but since I want a slightly thicker textured knit, I am working this model in this way. This model is really a very beautiful and useful model. Now what are we doing? Look, I am sinking to the bottom of the tight stitch now. I have lengthened my stitch. I am knitting my long tight stitch. Look here, I am keeping the stitch here short so as not to spoil the texture of the raffia. I am sinking to the bottom and I extended the stitch roughly. Look, I am definitely knitting my single crochet by extending the yarn in a way that will make the texture clear. Now we are completing this row by inserting only the bottom parts of the single crochet. We are approaching the long end. I am knitting single crochet by inserting the bottom of the single crochet here. Now I have removed the single crochet from the last single crochet that we put the hooked needle into. We have extended our long stitch and overlapped our single crochet. I am inserting my single crochet hook into the body of this long single crochet. This is my ending and starting point. We will have followed this easily. Now look, the long single crochet row is over. The model consists of 2 rows, 1 row of short single crochet, 1 row of long single crochet. Now we will have created our model by inserting it into the top spaces of the long single crochets each time. We are moving on to the new row. Look, the long single crochet has started. We are finished with the long single crochet. Now here I will insert the top of the long single crochet and knit short single crochets, inserting 1 single crochet to the top of each one. We will come to the end of the row. Look, there is no increase, etc. From now on, 1 for each one. We will knit and raise the wall in this way. Now let's knit 1 single crochet in each of the top spaces. Let's share the ending and beginning here with you once more. We have come to the end of the row. We will not remove the safety needle here anymore. We have completed the row by inserting it to the top of the last long single crochet and knitting our short single crochet. The short single crochet row is over. Now we are moving on to long single crochets. We are inserting the short single crochet that comes here right under the first short single crochet. Look, we knit a long tight needle trace by sinking to the bottom of the next tight needle again and knitting our long tight needles. The pattern consists of 2 rows. In 1 row, we knit tight needles to the tops of the long ones. In another row, we knit our long tight needles by sinking to the bottoms of the short tight needles. The pattern is really easy. There is no difficulty. We will only knit the wall part with tight needles. Look, I want to show the short tight needles like this. We knit our long tight needles by sinking to the bottom of the short one. When we come to the end of the row, look, we will continue like this immediately. The bag has already started to concave. I want to show it like this. Look, we will knit it straight. Finally, now we will knit long single crochets. Finally, after inserting the top of the short single crochet and knitting long single crochets, we will knit long single crochets and knitting short single crochets. Like the row here, we will knit 1 row of short single crochets to the tops and 1 row of long single crochets to the bottoms of the single crochets. In this way, we will have created our model in 2 rows. As we have described to you, now let's raise the wall part of our bag enough and continue to the next stage together. We have raised the wall of our bag enough when I count the long single crochets. I knitted it in 16 rows. Now I will give the measurement in centimeters. After knitting 16 rows of long single crochets, now look, I have completed my short row single crochet. Let's say this length. You can make it longer here. You can enlarge the wall as much as you want. It is 16 centimeters. It has a length of It is now 16 centimeters. Now we will move on to placing the zipper part. I want to show it on the zipper like this. Its length is 19 centimeters. The short side is a zipper measuring 7 centimeters. Look, there are holes on these edges. We will now mount it to our bag. From these holes, we need to knit the part we will mount. Now we have come to this stage. Look, we knitted our short row, our tight stitch. Now look, let's determine a row with hooked needles from the points we determined. In other words, we will adjust it according to the base like this. This is our ending and starting part. We will adjust the points where we will place it properly like this. Look, it's a little further ahead. I look at it like this. So we will place it on the inside like this, but while placing it inside, we need to create a piece of our knitting here so that the zipper looks nice and stays inside, because we have the handle part and also on the wall part where it needs to be placed. Since we will continue knitting, we need to place the zipper properly at this stage. Look, the zipper fits right inside. Now I will adjust its places like this. Let's make its place clear with the safety pins. Now let's quickly determine those parts. Let's move on to knitting. Come on, what will I place the zipper with? I have made the points clear. Now I counted until the other safety pin. There are 24 single crochets. We have 31 holes in the zipper. Look, I am holding it like this. I want to show it like this. I will knit our single crochets from the point where the safety pin is. I want to show it like this. Look, we will start from this point. We will finish in this part. It matches exactly. 24 single crochets are enough for me. We will have 2 stitches in some points. We will place it like this in the zipper part. Look, we have 24 single crochets on the other side. Now look, it matches exactly at the end of the row. After knitting the last short single crochet at this point on the top of the first single crochet, I am sinking. I make a slip stitch by removing the stitch, and I pull a chain and cut my yarn here as much as necessary. I cut about 5 centimeters like this and break the yarn here. Now I will continue from the inside. We will knit in reverse. Look, since this is the part where we will place the zipper, I immediately create a loop with a chain like this, and I am sinking from the point where the safety pin is. I made a stitch from here. I also put the short yarn in between. And I'm starting directly with a single crochet. Now look, we're going to knit our single crochets in this way by inserting them into the tops of the single crochets in reverse from one row inside, that is, in reverse. We'll have knitted a total of 24 single crochets from one hook needle to the other hook needle. Now let's come to the point where the single crochet is. I've come to the point where the single crochet is here. I also insert into the gap where the hook needle is and knit my single crochet. I have knitted a total of 24 single crochets. Now I stretch the stitch here slightly and turn my knitting directly, and look, I insert into the gap where the hooked needle is. That is, we knitted the single crochets in reverse. Now I will insert into the bottom of the single crochet I knitted in reverse. See, there should be a row of short single crochets in between. Now see where the hook needle is again. That is, I insert into the bottom of the single crochet I knitted in reverse. Did I extend the stitch and knit my single crochet? The next single crochet. See, I insert right under it in reverse and knit my long single crochet. Now I will knit 24 long single crochets in this way. I hope it is understandable. Now I will continue like this until the end of the row by knitting long single crochets until the point of its hooking, and we have come to the end of our row. What happened to its hooking here? Look, I will knit the last single crochet. I insert into the bottom of the single crochet and knit our long single crochet and pull one chain here and leave about 5 centimeters of my yarn and remove it from the loop. We will hide these threads later. Look, there are short threads like this. We will hide them later. Now look at the point where we will place the zipper. We have established a row of model. We knitted a row of short single crochets. We knitted a row of long single crochets. These points need to remain. Look, the short single crochets here need to remain so that we will continue to knit the wall part by inserting from these points again, because the bag does not end here, but you'll extend a piece here and insert the zipper like this. You can finish it at that stage. This is completely up to your taste. You will do it very easily after it makes sense. Now, since we will continue from the inside again, I am creating a loop with a chain again by inserting from the point where the hook is. Look, I knit my short single crochets from the reverse side. I knit my single crochets by inserting one single crochet to the top of each single crochet. In other words, I'm applying the process I did here to the point here. I am doing the exact same process reciprocally. Now let's finish the process here and move on to the next stage. Now we have knitted the points where we will place the zipper reciprocally. We have no more use for these safety pins here. We are removing them. And look here, now we will start by creating a loop with a chain again. The point we will sink will be the part where I finish and start again. Look, let's hide these threads from the point where the short yarn is. Then look, I am sinking from the bottom of the short single crochet. I am exiting from the top. Look, the points we will sink in the meantime. Let me show you the short single crochet we knitted with a different crochet hook so that it is easier to understand. We will sink from the bottom of the short single crochet we knitted and take it out from the top, sink from the bottom, and the top point is quite clear. Look, the top points are already visible. The places where the long single crochets come out are already visible. Look, we will sink into these points and start knitting the points where each single crochet is, as a whole, just like we knitted the wall. Now we have completed the point where we will place the zipper. We can also place the zipper at this stage, but since I want to show you this part right away so that we can see the connection point easily, look, I am sinking from the bottom right away. We will enter this part. I have created the loop. I am sinking directly to the point I showed. I took my loop from here. Since I wanted to knit the short one by hiding it, I put it in between, and I knit my short single crochet. Let's repeat. I knitted my short tight needle. Look, I'm inserting it into another one right away. And I'm knitting my short tight needle. You can fold this part if you have difficulty. Look, I am knitting short tight needles by inserting them into these points that are at the same level as the bottom of the short tight needle, and from there to the top. Let's hide these short threads. Now our example will be more easily understood. Look right at the bottom and then at the top there is already a point where long single crochets come out. That is for the zipper. Actually, look, we have made a layer here. We have left a piece of knitting inside. Now we will come to the points I have shown by completely sinking. We will continue from here as if we come to this part. Let's show you the transition here. Look, we have synced the last long single crochet here into the short single crochet at the bottom. Now look here, the short single crochets coincide independently. Let's look at the last point there. Look, after knitting in the last part, now we will sink into the tops of the next short single crochets. In other words, we are sinking into the tops of these open points. I sink into the top. I am slipping. I am sinking. I made a loop on the top of the single crochet. I am slipping. We will pass this part as slipping. Because in the next row, since this part will be included in the wall, I do not want the integrity to be disrupted here. The only important thing for us was the point where the zipper will be placed. I want to show it like this. Now let's continue our slipping. Look, let's go through this part quickly. If I remember correctly, there were 15 single crochets in this open section. Inserting at the top of each single crochet, look, I am inserting at the last point. I made the slip. Now, when I come to the point where the long single crochet is, look, I will insert right below it. And the top of the short single crochet that I insert at the bottom will be the point where the long single crochet comes out. I took my hook out of this point and knitted my single crochet. I fold my knitting so that I can insert it easily. Look at the points I have shown for each one. I will continue in the row of short single crochets by inserting in exactly the same way as on the opposite side. Then when it comes to this part, we will slide again and come to the end and start point. Our hooked needle here was showing our end and start. Now look, we are going all the way to this part. We are going to the point we first started. Let's insert our safety pin like this. Let's proceed as we have described up to this point. Now we have come to the end of the row. I want to show you the knitting like this. Look, it is necessary to knit these parts regularly so that the zipper looks nice. It is necessary to adjust the numbers in a balanced way. After adjusting the numbers, it is really fun to knit. Now look, after making the last slide here, we are now returning to the model. I had inserted my safety pin at the point where the first tight needle was. I am taking it out. We will knit this short yarn by hiding it. Now look, I am inserting it right at the bottom of the tight needles we knitted here. Again, the same points. Look, I am inserting it in the same part. I will hide the short yarn at this stage. I am knitting my long tight needles. I will approach it a little bit. Look, I knitted my long tight needle. My next short tight needle is here. I am inserting it at the bottom. I am knitting my long tight needle. Now we are knitting the wall part here. Look, independent of this part here, the tops of the short tight needles we knitted here. Now inserting it into the bottoms of the tight needles we knitted. We remove our long tight needles from the same insertion point. We actually continue knitting as a whole, as if we were knitting the same wall section. Look right at the bottom of the tight needle. By sinking into the bottom of the short tight needles. Here we are proceeding by knitting long tight needles. Now let's come to the point where we make a slip. Let's show you how we pass that part. It is really easy. Now we have made the knitting a whole. We continue knitting the wall part. It is important for this part to rise. Both the zipper part will be inside. It will give us a nice look. We will also knit that rise in the wall part where we will place the handle. Now look, I am approaching the slip point. We can hide this short yarn at this stage. Right at this point, I knitted my long single crochet by inserting it at the bottom of the last single crochet. Now the slips are starting. Look, the single crochet here is finished. The slip point is starting. The single crochet where the slip is. Look, I passed this place with a slip. I didn't knit an extra single crochet here. Now this slip will stay inside. It will stay inside the long single crochet. Here, I'm inserting it right at the bottom of the next single crochet, the short single crochet. Let's hide this yarn later. I'm taking out my long tight needle right here. I am inserting the short needle at the bottom. Long needle. Look, the slip point is stuck inside. I am knitting my long needles and moving on to the next point. See short needles. We have returned to the normal model. By inserting the short needles, we have created our long and long needles at this stage. Then when I come across, look at the last slip point, the slip point in this part. I insert this one right at the bottom, the next single needle right away. I insert and remove the long needle. I knit long needles. Here I insert the long needles into the points I have shown on the opposite side. I am knitting. This part will look neat like this later. Look, when we place the zipper, it will fit more clearly. In this way, the rows will be completed. I want to place the zipper immediately at this stage and then move on to raising the wall part. The wall part is now quite clear. Look, this is our end and starting point. The first long single crochet is this part. Let's determine this point so that it has a nice look. Let's attach the hook here. This is our ending point on the wall part. We will continue to knit the wall part in a spren way, but before raising the wall, let's place this zipper part. At this stage, I opened my ball completely and took the other end. Look here, the continuation of the ball. I did not cut the stitch here. We will continue to knit. I took the yarn at the end of the ball. Now I take my zipper. There are 24 single crochets that I have knitted here. I will place it through these holes, but what will I do to place it easily? First of all, because these holes, look, can sometimes be closed, there may be a piece of leather left inside. I definitely widen them with the help of a crochet hook at first. Look, I will use it to combine them easily. My crochet hook size will be 2.20 millimeters when placing the zipper. I definitely dip and exit each stitch once. Let's apply this to all the holes here now, leaving a long yarn like this, leaving a 15 centimeters yarn. I start with the chain. I created the loop. Now I take my zipper. Look at the point I will insert. It is obvious I knitted 24 single crochets. I inserted right on top of the long single crochet. I also inserted into my first hole here. Now there are 31 stitches in total here. That is, there are 31 holes. I have 24 stitches, so I will adjust it by inserting 6 of them twice. So when I hold it like this, look, I will have placed it so that this hold point corresponds to 24 single crochets. Now I take my loop to the end of the hook and I insert from here. I remove the loop from the points. I pull my chain right here, then we will hide this short remaining thread. Now after this chain again, I insert the same single crochet again. Look, I insert the first single crochet again and insert the first space again. I pull the loop from this point, I remove the loop and slide the loop through the waiting loop. I insert the next single crochet. I insert the long needle into the next hole and pull out a stitch. I slide the stitch I pulled out through the waiting stitch. I insert the next needle and insert it into the next hole and pull out my stitch from there. I am making my slip. Now I will hide this yarn later by slipping. I'm sinking into the next tight stitch. I have sunk into the next point. I have pulled out the stitch. I have slipped the stitch through here. Now I have sunk into the next tight stitch and I am sinking into another hole. I have pulled out the stitch. Am I slipping now? I am inserting the same tight needle again because I have 31 holes here. I have 24 tight needles here. Let them match. Now I am inserting the same tight needle again. I am inserting the next hole. Look, on the front side we will insert the same tight needle in the knitting into the next hole in the leather piece and balance it like this. I made a loop. I made a slip here again. The slips that we insert twice here are not very noticeable. Now insert the next one and insert the next one again and the hole. We will remove the stitch and make a slip. I will sink into another one. I will sink into another hole again, another slip. I will sink into the same hole again. Next look, I will sink into the same tight needle. I will sink into the next hole so that we will have placed the holes in a way that 24 tight needles will coincide. I sank into the same tight needle. I sank into the next leather and made a slip again. Now look, with this slip like this, I will sink these holes in a way that 24 tight needles will coincide. I will sink 2 tight needles into some of them and sprinkle them like this and place the zipper in the middle parts. I will also show the finish. Then we will mount the zipper by doing the same process on the opposite side. Look at the end, there are 2 tight needles left and we have 2 holes left. We adjusted it like this, sinking 2 tight needles into some of them in a way that will coincide, counting slowly. We progressed in a balanced way, and in the last holes, look, it coincides, we immediately make our slips. After this slip, I pull a chain right at this point and lengthen my thread a little. I'm pulling and I took it out of the loop. Now look at the part where the last hole is from the point where we sank this rope. I will take it to the front, make it strong, take this from this side inside, and look, we will hide this yarn very easily from the intermediate points. I am throwing it. You can also do it with a vitamin needle. Then it will be easier to place. I will take the inside part like this. Look, I will completely eliminate this. Again, we will hide this yarn inside and make it strong. Now here again, open the zipper and hold it easily from here and place it as we described from here. It completes the zipper part. We have finished placing our firm. Now we have come to the part where our safety pin is. Here we were knitting our long single crochets and continuing in the wall part. Now we are knitting our long single crochet by inserting it to the bottom of the last short single crochet there. Now I am taking out the safety pin. Now the row is complete. Now I will knit the short single crochets. We are knitting by inserting it to the tops of the long single crochets. We will knit our short single crochets. Look, now we are only continuing by knitting the wall part. Here we are not breaking the yarn anymore. Look at our wall as a whole. We will continue to knit. I want to show it like this. We have moved on to the wall part. Now let's knit the wall part enough. Then let's move on to placing our handle. Look. After the zipper, we knitted 3 rows of long single crochet. Now I will pay you the size of the wall part. Let's see how tall we are in centimeters. The wall part is close to 18.5, 19 centimeters. I want to give it on the base as knitted like that because it makes a difference. Look, when we knit the width, it became 23 centimeters. Our base length is like this. If I were to say the width, it expands a little. This is about 12 centimeters. In other words, it has developed 2 centimeters from the width part. Now, look, the length of our wall is like this. We will finish now. After knitting the last long single crochet here, I insert it into the top of the next long single crochet. I make a slip stitch and make my slip. Now we will finish by slipping in the mouth part. Look, let's insert all the stitches and make our slips. Let's come to the end of the row. Now we have come to the last point. We insert it into the top of the last single crochet here and make our slip. I leave our yarn a little long and cut it. Then look, we will take the yarn in again from the last point I inserted. Now we will hide the yarn in this part like this. Look, by inserting from the back points where the long single crochets are, we hide the short yarn and finish the process with knitting here. We will hide the short yarn. We will move on to placing the handle part. I want to show the handle like this. Look, these are toothed handles. We will mount them directly to the mesh. There is paper placed here so that it does not get scratched. We will remove this last. Look like this. This money part too. We will use this to fix it on the inside. This will make our handle strong so there will be no protrusion, etc. from these 2 teeth. Now I was going to place this on this part, but since these will be visible, I will open the zipper on this part. Look at the inside of our bag. I will pass this through the teeth properly, see? Then look at our knitting. I will attach this plate to the teeth inside and close the plates. These close very easily. See, we will place the plate and close it immediately. I want to give the size of the handle. How many centimeters is the length of our handle? Look, its length from the metal part is 33 centimeters. The length of the handle is 33 centimeters. Now let's place this on our knitting, place our handle on both sides and complete our bag. We finished it by placing it in our bag with our handle. I used 5 balls of yarn in total, but I used very little yarn from the 5th ball. I want to mention this. Our recipe was like this. I hope you like it and try it. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.